All right, welcome back everybody, man. It is really good to see you. So today I want to talk to you about backpacks. And as you can see behind me, I've got a lot of backpacks to talk to you about. Now as we get going, if you want to master your fieldcraft or develop your tactical virtue, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so that you can stay up to date on future content. All right, so what's the best backpack to choose from, whether or not you're trying to do a day hike, a through hike, just do some bushcrafting, an everyday carry bag. There's all kinds of bags out there. It's non-stop, man. You do an Amazon search and there's thousands of backpacks. You do a Google search and there's millions of backpacks. You go to the store and there's only like 4 backpacks. And that's the challenge of trying to find a backpack online, is that you can't get your hands on it to feel it, to see how it feels on your pack, to see how much you can load in it and how you could use this thing. Do you like clamshells? Do you like top loaders? You know, all kinds of questions that don't get answered when we're looking online. So I wanted to bring you all kinds of backpacks and things to put in your kit bag as you're going out to try to find a backpack for you. All right, so what are the different types of backpacks that are out there? You got large backpacks, small backpacks, internal frames, external frames, internal frame sheets, aluminum frame stay, 20 liters, 3,400 cubic inches, 80 liters, 500 denier, 1,000 denier Cordura, clamshell, top loader, SHTF, inch bag, through hike, day hike, big box store, REI, Walmart, Amazon, a budget backpack, an everyday carry backpack, hunting backpack. You see what I'm saying, man? There's so many things that are out there for you to try to digest and to chew from. Man, it can get really, really difficult to figure out what's going to be the best backpack for you. In addition, man, it's just like, what size of a backpack do you need to do a day hike, to do a 2 to 4 day hike, to do an extended, through hike? What kind of size backpack do you need? And what do all these different volumes? Because sometimes manufacturers will list how much you can put in by cubic inches, by liters, and sometimes you don't get both. And you got to try to do some math on your side, in your head, or on a computer, and then sometimes you'll just get the actual dimensions. So we'll go ahead and take some of these down off the wall. We're not going to do an in-depth review off of each one, but just an overarching review on backpacks as a whole, as it relates to the size of the backpacks that you see behind me, the kind of price range that's out there for you to be able to choose from based on your budget, and then we'll go from there. All right, so the first one we're going to take down is going to be the smallest one I have up here, and it's made by Tactical Tailor. It's a removable fight light operator bag, and it's kind of designed that it can attach to some other backpacks that they make, or attach to a MOLLE vest or something like that. And it's only about 20 liters. As you can see, it's not overly huge. I can put this thing on. It barely takes up the profile on my back. And the good thing about it is that it is a smaller bag, right? So if I need something small for a day hike, this is about 20 liters, and it's made out of 500 denier Cordura. So it's tough enough, and it's kind of lightweight enough that it's not going to be overly heavy. But it is not an ultralight backpack. But if I'm just trying to do something like a day hike, or I just want to do some exploring around the car and near the car or the truck or whatever, I can throw this on, and I can put enough stuff in here that I can take care of myself without too much of an issue. Now, what makes this inherently different from the other backpacks that are on the wall, from most of the other backpacks on the wall, is that it is frameless. So you can completely squish this thing down into a ball, right? So what does that mean inherently is that you can't overload it with a lot of gear, but guess what? It's small. You don't need. And so anything that you can see that you can do this with, any kind of backpack, is really, at the end of the day, it is a bag with straps. Even though this one is a little bit more expensive and pricey than maybe something that you'd find down at Walmart or something like that, you do kind of get what you pay for. So when you think about kids' backpacks, how often do you have to replace your kids' backpack that they're taking to school? And this is going to be about the same size, right? About 20 liters is going to be about the same. So I know for my kids, I've had 3 of them 2 that are out of school now and 1 that is still in school, and I dang near have to replace backpacks almost every year, and they don't carry that much load in their bags that have straps on them like this is, but you know, after a year of trudging back and forth to school, in and around school, brushing up against wall lockers and things like this, you know, the straps, they wear out. And of course, if you're spending $40 a year on a backpack that you're just picking up down at a big box store, and you think for your own self, if I want to invest in something that I'm going to be able to have for years and years to come, you know, maybe it is more worth it. Maybe it is worth it to go ahead and spend a little bit extra money, if you can, to get something of a quality that you're not going to have to replace down the road. If you can't do that yet, then just go buy a $50 backpack down at the store and use that until you can get something. I can tell you this one right here is going to last me the rest of my life. Like, it is just a quality backpack. All the stitching is reinforced. The way that the harness is made itself, you know, I have no doubt that I'm gonna be able to use this thing for a really long time if I take care of it. All right, so let's look at the next one. All right, so next up, we'll look at a military issued salt pack. I've got a couple of these up here. One in my old pattern and then one in the new one. So these are gonna be, you know, typical, described as an assault pack, and you know, they're a little bit larger than the one that we just looked at. There was only about 17, 18 liters. In this one, you're gonna be able to get probably 23 to 24 liters in the main bag, and then probably 5 liter-ish in the bag that has, or the pouch that has in front of it. And that's a really important note because once we start looking at some of the more expensive boutique backpacks, the manufacturers are going to fill each individual bag and internal compartment with beads or small balls and see what the volume is that can hold. And so if you have, let's just say, 5 internal pouches inside a bag, and you fill all of those, and then you take all that out, and then you fill the main bag, and then you add those together, it's more than what your bag can hold. I mean, you can't pack 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. You know what I'm saying? Something's gonna give somewhere. So just be careful, you know, when you're out and you're looking online at specifications and things of this nature, don't just trust what the volume is that a manufacturer says that you can put in a bag. Actually do some math, and preferred, of course, find somebody who knows and has a similar bag or the exact same bag, and that way you can kind of take it for a test run. Again, you know, it's kind of lightweight. I think this one probably only weighs maybe 2 pounds, so it's kind of lightweight. Now, so a total of, you know, 20, close to 30 liters, probably 28 liters total, you know, this pouch, and then not to mention any other pouches that you throw on the side using the MOLLE webbing. You know, what are you going to be able to get for that as far as how much you can actually pack into it? And I'm going to tell you, you're probably going to get enough to last a solid day. You know, if you're just looking for a hunting backpack, something that you can take out with you, and you want to take out some snivel gear, some binoculars, some Scooby snacks, things like this, you can definitely get all that back here. You can get a bedroll underneath it if you need to, and of course you can get some survival gear. I wouldn't recommend trying to do an overnight day hike with this thing. Again, it doesn't have an internal frame. This one does have a cheap frame sheet, so you know, it's kind of hard to bend, but it's not made for load bearing. All the stitching on these bags are legit. You know, there's no major issue with the stitching. Now, of course, this particular one has a camouflage or an OCP pattern, and you know, so some people may gawk, you know, I'm looking for a bag for you know, everyday carry bag, you know, a bug out bag. I want to throw it and leave in the back of my car. This is actually a good size bag for something like that. You know, a bag that you can put on your pack and then get home. You're gonna get rain gear, some emergency survival gear, whatever the case is, things of this nature. But some people complain about, you know, having a camouflage backpack is going to make you stand out. So here's a stoker's opinion. Any backpack is going to make you stand out if that's what you're really concerned about, whether it's black, blue, gray, green, brown, black, camo. I said black twice, and that's okay. So at the end of the day, because if somebody sees somebody else who has a backpack they know that you have something in your backpack and they're going to want what's in it. Again, it doesn't matter what color it is, and nobody's going to think that you're Tactical or Tactical Joe if you have something that's camouflage on, right? Just my opinion. All right, and so the next pack that we'll look at, I guess in this lineup will be the large rucksack. Again, this is a military issued pack, and this is going to be the first one in the series of backpacks that we're going to be looking at that has an external frame. We can see it right here, right? So when you have an external frame backpack, you have all kinds of attachment points that your backpack is attached to the frame. So what that does is it makes it a lot more load bearing. You can stuff a lot more weight in an external frame backpack than you can in an internal frame or no frame. Right, so as you can see, right, I mean, this backpack is pretty stinking large. Right, so you got about 65 liters in this backpack, or 4,200 cubic inches. It's huge, huge. You know, so as typical assault packs, you know, they might be listed as a 72-hour backpack, the one that we just looked at. But you can't live 3 days out of that backpack unless you have absolutely nothing in there but food. But with a backpack like this, you really could get out for an extended period of time. And it's not uncommon. I've had probably 70, 80 pounds in one of these. Same with the old large mountain ruck on the Alice pack frame style. I have a smaller Alice pack here we'll look at. But they did make larger ones as well, which is about the same size. Now with these, of course, you have some sustainment pouches right there. So it just extends the volume, and so you can pack your gear in different ways and have different things elsewhere. And I will tell you, you know, once you start getting into a pack like this, how you load a pack is important. So just a couple tips, you know, as you're packing your backpack, keep weight down low. And that's one of the downfalls to a backpack this size, is it is so big. It moves your center of gravity, right? So you want weight down low and then up against your body so that your center of gravity isn't changed as much. You won't have a tendency to fall back or to fall forward. You know, those are two bad things that you don't want to happen when you're out on the trail or bushwhacking through the woods. And then so typical packs like this are going to have some MOLLE strap in it, and I have another one up here that has quite a bit as well. So again, you know, it allows you to add more pouches or bags to the pack so that you can just extend how much room that you can put in this thing. Now this is actually the first backpack that by design has a waist strap. They have that removed from this one. And so what a waist strap does, and we'll take a look, closer look at some of the other boutique backpacks because they all have waist belts on them. And that's the thing, you want a waist belt, not a waist strap. So like the assault pack that we looked at, typical backpacks that you're going to find, you know, for students who are carrying around stuff at school, or even like the first backpack that we looked at, the little 20-liter jobber, they have waist straps. So you can imagine if you have a strap, a 1-inch piece of webbing around your waist, and you cinch it down, thinking it's going to help carry the load. One, you're mistaken, it's really not. And two, all you're doing is cutting off the blood circulation to your legs and everything down there, and that can end up being for a really bad day. All right, and so I mean, these bad boys, you can probably pick them up for, oh, who knows, maybe 7,500 bucks, something like that. Not overly expensive. Next up, we'll look at the old classic I.N.C.H pack. And I got this thing loaded down. Oh my God. Woohoo! Man, she's ready to go for ruck, and I tell you what. So again, you know, old I.N.C.H packs, same one I was issued back in the 90s. External framed. It's a metal frame as opposed to a composite frame like on the newer backpacks. And again, you know, external frame, you can carry a lot more gear, a lot more weight in it. I'm going to say that this one has right at 45 pounds exactly loaded into it. And by itself probably weighs 2 pounds. So, you know, maybe 47, 48 pounds. Total in this backpack. Right, so with an I.N.C.H pack like this, you know, you probably got 22, 23 liters total, not counting the 3 external pouches that are on the back. Now, as I recall, you know, we had the small one, and then there was medium and a large one. The large mountain ruck is going to be similar size to the one we just looked at. And so this one actually has a padded waist belt, so it's padded in the back, and then out front you just have the straps themselves, and these are 2-inch webbing. So you get a little bit more ability to carry the load down on your legs, but you don't get a lot. So it's not, as we're gonna see, some of these other backpacks that are modern these days have a really good ability to carry the load on your legs and get it off your shoulders. All right, so there she is, the old Alice pack. All right, so that gets us closer down, and now we're gonna look at the remainder bottom 4 backpacks, and we'll work from left to right. So first up is gonna be a TETON Sport. I want to say this is a 3400, yep, the Scout 3400 backpack. It says 3400 cubic inches, which is going to be around 50-55 liters. So with a backpack this size, you can expect it to stay days out on the trail. Anything that's about 50-55 to 60 liters and beyond, you know, something that you're going to be using for through hikes. Now this is a top loader. The next one we're going to look at is a clamshell, and they both have pros and cons. You know, the downside to a top loading backpack is if you want something on the bottom, you have to reach all the way down, whereas a clamshell, you have access to the whole backpack itself. Backpacks like these are also typically going to have a means to get to the bottom, and mainly, you know, they market these for like sleeping systems, and sometimes they're isolated like this one is. So you can just put your sleeping bag right in there, or your hammock, or your poncho, liner poncho, whatever you got, your little whoopee. Again, that's awesome. It's handy, but it's a lot of low weight down on the small of the backpack, which kind of goes against what we talk about as far as keeping weight where we want it. So this one does have a padded waist belt, right? Similar in style to the Alice pack, actually, where it's padded around from the side to all the way around back, and you have a little bit of additional lumbar support here. But then up here, of course, we just have our about 2-inch webbing straps. This one clocks in at about 3 pounds, so it's pretty lightweight. This one has an internal frame, and I think most of the backpacks you're going to find, the backpacking backpacks like this, that you're going to find, whether you're at a REI or Bass Pro or something like that, are all going to have internal frames like this one. This one has a couple frame stays, so there's a couple pieces of aluminum, one that runs here and then one that runs here. And what happens on this particular one anyways, is so that the actual shoulder straps themselves affix 2 points that affix to those stays. And as you can see, right, you can't bend this up at all. So it's going to allow you to carry a little bit more weight. It has some flexibility, as you can see, but it doesn't have all that much. Of course, you're always going to get some that's going to have some external bags, water bags, things for bottles and whatnots, whatever you want to put in there. Sometimes you'll have backpacks that are going to have pouches on the top, gloves or maps or whatever the case is. This one has it right here, in theory, that you can just reach behind you and reach in for your stuff that you have in there. And you don't need to go spend, all kinds of money on a backpacking backpack. You take care of the gear and it will take care of you. So next up is going to be the Tactical Tailor extended range backpack. And this is probably the largest backpack that Tactical Tailor makes. So it clocks in at around 53 liters on the main compartment, which is about 3,400 cubic inches, something like that. And that'll make it about 28 inches tall, 13 inches wide, and probably close to 9 inches. Now this one, again, has a lot of MOLLE webbing on it all over the place. So you can expand how much you can carry by just affixing different bags and things of this nature. And right here I got one attached right there. So backpacks like this, like Tactical Tailor, are a lot more expensive than what you're going to pay for something like a Kelty. So this one clocks in at around $500 brand new. So do you get what you paid for? And bottom line up front is yes, you do. So you have a really good webbing. Good aluminum frame stays in this one. The shoulder straps are padded. Good lumbar support. Excellent stitching. This one is not too heavy. It's about 3 pounds, 4 pounds, something like that. So it's not overly heavy. The next one we're going to look at is a little bit heavier. But on this one, Now it's kind of hard to see at this level, but the padded waist belt goes almost all the way around to the front with the strapping, with that webbing, just minimal contact with your body or with your skin. So you're not going to get a lot of pinching on it. Right, so there you go. Here's the padded waist belt itself. And again, you even have, you know, a lot of attention to detail on these backpacks. Additional strapping that you can use to adjust how everything loads and fits to your body. So they're very, very adjustable. Now you got some good lumbar support and some good back support. Again, you know, the frame stays on this one. Almost no flexing. A little flexing this way, but that's okay. You know, really good heavy duty shoulder straps and stays that you can use to adjust how it sits on your back, whether you want it sitting further back or you want it to cinch it all the way down up close to you. And so although a backpack like this is a little bit more expensive, I have no doubt that this would last as well as these other two. You know, they're gonna last all the way through the end of my grandkids' lives. I mean, they're just super heavy duty. Again, 500 Cordura nylon. This one is not coated. The other two are coated. But, you know, I've had this one on a couple deployments. I've done a lot of extended backpacking. And again, with something this size, you can expect to last, you know, when you call something a 3-day, 72-hour bag, you know, you are no shit going to get that out of a bag this size. And that's not saying that you're limited to, you know, 3 days. But in the winter time, you know, man, it's been raining pretty much nonstop up here for the last week or so. And then it's starting to get winter time, so you think of additional layers and all the extra stuff that you have to pack in your bag, whether you're just trying to get home or whether you're trying to head out on the trail. You know, there's a lot of additional equipment and supplies that you need to pack. And so a pack this size, you know, you're gonna be able to get that done. I didn't show you, but now that it is up here, so this is a clamshell. I've got a couple items in here, but it allows you to open up from the top so you get access to the entire backpack by opening it up. But what they did, if you don't like clamshells, is you have additional strapping on here. So if you want to treat it like a top loader, you can do that as well. And you know, that's as far as she's going to open up. Not too bad. A lot of attention to detail on, you know, what I'm going to call the boutique bags. You know, the ones that cost a lot more, with the strapping that's on the inside. The bottom of the backpack is orange, which is really cool because you've got a light that you're shining down inside it, and it just reflects the light back up. So it doesn't absorb all of that light. So next up is the Mystery Ranch. Now this one is not mine. Borrowed this one. And these are the most expensive backpack in the lineup that we're looking at. On clearance, this thing is like 500 bucks. But you get, in my opinion, man, you get what you pay for. And that's a really good way to buy an otherwise a $700-800 backpack. Is Mystery Ranch has a lot of closeouts. You just take a little time and get what you're looking for. So you got about 65 liters or 4,300 cubic inches just in the main bag itself. These, a lot of Mystery Ranches have the long torpedo pouches that you'll see on their website. A lot of additional pouches on the front, on the side. This thing comes apart, so you can use it as a small carry pack. The only thing I'll say, you know, with the Mystery Ranch, as quality of a product as it is, the actual top for your pack is that I kind of wish it was sewn in there and not removable, but you know, some people like them. A lot of people like them. And for good reason. I mean, they're really good backpacks. And they pay a lot of attention to detail when they were designing these things. Let me get this cinch back down. And so this is not giving you a true look at the overall size. You know, it's really cinched down right now. But just a lot of attention to detail. You got carry handles here. You got double carry handles here, grab handles there. Some on this side, so no matter where it's laying, no matter how it's laying, you can pick it up and carry You know, once you start getting into these size, probably not going to be a carry-on bag if you're trying to fly with them. Would have to be checked. But this one would definitely do an excellent job. As you can see, I'm going to turn this guy upside down. So the waist strap on this thing is hands down the best one in the lineup. And they did an incredible job. It's a little articulating there, right? So you have pad across your lumbar, and then you have the pads that come across the side, and finally to buckle up in front of your waist. So you're really going to be able to put a lot of load without it causing a discomfort to you on your legs by using this thing. I mean, that thing is, they did this right. Not only did they do that right, but they did their shoulder straps right as well as how it attaches into the frame itself. I mean, the whole thing is stitched in extremely well. As you can see, it kind of articulates there, and then you have your frame stays to pull your backpack back up closer to your bag. But this thing is just, it is amazing. I don't own this one. Again, one of the other guys I work with owns it. He's had it for a few years, you know, and it's done pretty well. So this one is also the heaviest one in the lineup. It comes in at probably close to 8 pounds unloaded. So if you're trying to do a through hike and you're trying to minimize the weight that you have because you're being aware and cognizant of what that wear and tear is going to have on your body, a pack of this heavy duty may not be the one that you want to go with. You may want to clock it back down to 3 to 5 pounds. Right, and last but not least is the Kifaru. This is an Eastern RUCK. And this is my new backpack. This is not their most expensive backpack, and certainly not their cheapest one. But you know, Kifaru again is going to be a little bit more of a designer, boutique. I hate to use those words like that when it comes to backpacks. But you know, it kind of is what it is because we're talking about something that's just a lot more expensive. Right, so the Eastern RUCK is about 52 cubic inches in the main bag itself, around 3,200 cubic inches. I think it lists a lot higher, but again, when you take into account all the external bags and the internal pouches and things like this, you know, manufacturers will bump up those cubic inches, and that's on the bad of all three of these manufacturers as well. I'm not saying they can't have a lot of extra gear in it, but you know, when you're out there and you're trying to decide which bag is right for you, this Mystery Ranch lists a lot bigger than this Kifaru Eastern RUCK, and it is a little bit larger, but that's, you know, what are you going to do with a torpedo bag? I mean, it's weird shaped, you know. I want to know how large the main compartment is. Tell me that, and everything else is gravy. Right, so Kifaru, again, excellent waist belt, even on this entry-level backpack. And so with Kifaru, you know, they will come with straps that are going to attach to it and a frame sheet. It's a really good frame sheet that it has in it. But they also have the option of using an external frame as well, so you can really pack down the weight that you're trying to carry out. Now, I love this backpack. It's a top loader. Oh, this Mystery Ranch was a top loader as well. A lot of Mystery Ranch had the Y-shaped zippers that you can open up really well. It kind of looks like a predator's mouth. This particular one was a top loader. Again, you know, this was a clamshell. This one is a straight up top loader, and which is one of the reasons why I bought it. It's 500 Cordura. It is coated, so it is a little extra protection from rains and whatnots. And it also has some side, you know, access things. It's kind of funny. I'm showing this one. I did up an unboxing of this backpack. I just haven't thrown it up yet. But I do love this thing. Now, this frame sheet is really good. It will not bend at all. And so the straps attached to it, the straps could have been a little bit more heavy duty, but you know, this backpack itself has the third best strapping system of any of these, and in my opinion, probably one of the best waist belts. It's not as padded, but the way it sits and conforms, and the way these straps right here come to the front as opposed to pulling to the rear is just kind of amazing. So like right now, I probably have 15, 18 pounds in this backpack, and all of that weight, I mean, this is just kind of loose right here. All that weight, as soon as I put that strap on, I feel it cinching down on my waist, and I could go forever. All right, so this one clocks in at about $400-ish, and Kifaru, they go up from there, well, and down from there. They have some smaller bags, but again, man, you get what you pay for. So this is $400, you know, this is $550, this is, I'm gonna call it what it was, not on sale, $700. So 4, 5, 7. With all of these, you're gonna get a quality backpack that's gonna last you the rest of your life. But you know, so many times we try to push the high end, the boutique stuff, the designer things, and I think sometimes we lose the fact that there are so many of us, and myself included, especially, you know, 10, 20 years ago, who couldn't even dream of affording something like a $400 backpack. I would have told somebody that they were smoking crack. And the fact of the matter is, you don't need to go out and buy a $400 backpack. You don't need to buy a $700 backpack or a $600 backpack. You're fine with a $75 backpack just like this. If that's all that you can afford right now, that backpack is gonna get you through on the trails and allow you to have some fun. So don't wait until you can afford to buy big fancy gear. Get what you can afford now and get out on the trail. If you're just trying to do some bushcraft things, you know, get a smaller assault sized backpack. If you're just trying to do something for some everyday carry, you know, get a smaller $50 backpack that's gonna enable you to start putting your kit together the way that you want, and then you replace items, you know, with better items down the road. And before you know it, you have the backpack and all of the gear that you've been looking for and hunting after for a long time. All right, everybody, so there you go. Probably an extended review and look at the overarching topic of backpacks and all the different options that we have out there, from small to large, internal frame, external frame, frame sheets, frame stays, material types, budget, all the different things that are out there, and for you to take into consideration as far as what you can get for the amount of money, the amount of bag that you're gonna get and put on your back. Again, you know, just get what you can and get out on the trail and have some fun. Get off that couch, get out of the car, and get into the woods. If you enjoyed the content of the video, make sure you like it. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it, so that way you can stay up to date on some future content as it rolls out. And something else you can do, you know, as we keep this conversation rolling, is leave some comments down below to let us know what kind of backpack you like, that you prefer, that you have, maybe that you want. And as always, until then, we'll see you.